So I made the choice a while back to run my household like I run a business. And based on that choice, if I could fire myself today, I would. If I could replace myself with someone that was more organized, more efficient, better with executive function and planning, and not have so many highs, like up and downs in their personality, I would go ahead and make that decision, fire myself, replace myself with someone that was better equipped to do the job, okay? Because I am so disgusted at the amount of stuff I've brought into this house and that I'm now overwhelmed with and anxious about and trying to deal with, because I've already sort of done the damage, so to speak. So what I'm doing, because I can't fire myself, is I'm putting myself on a no buy, which I will cover very briefly what the no buy is for me. Because like minimalism, a no buy is something that you define for yourself before you start the challenge. You determine how long the challenge is, what your basic rules and requirements are. So I'm keeping mine very basic and very extreme, because I feel like when I did a low buy, it wasn't extreme enough. I didn't see enough results. Yes, I made progress. I brought far less in. I was a lot more discerning about the things I brought in. And this goes for my business, my reselling business, my craft or upcycle end of the business, and my personal like household. This includes all of it, because all of this stuff has sort of piled up in the garage area of the home. And I will give you a home tour. Maybe we can do that in the next video for time's sake. But today I'm taking you into the garage, because the garage is by far like the worst area in the house. It's the part of the house that I dread going into because it's so out of control. By doing this, I'm going to have to be getting creative with what I already have around the house. So you're going to be seeing me doing more projects and stuff like that. So if you prefer the addiction related stories and such, please go check out my Medium, support me over there. It means so much to me, because I do get paid when you read my articles, but it costs nothing to you. So I will be plugging that in my videos, and you could just fast forward through these bits in the future if you've already heard it once. Let's get into the garage, and I'll just show you why I'm so overwhelmed. So there is room for one car to park in our garage. The goal is to get both cars in the garage and to move anything related to my business and crafting, to relocate it out of our garage, out of our living space, okay? Here's where I keep like all my stuff that I'm supposed to paint in this section inside this pine chest. On this wire rack, we keep all of our overflow from Costco. You know, all the stuff is so big, but you use it, but we keep the extra right here. This is my charging station for my car. And then this little cubby hole is what I call it. On the top, I put seasonal stuff like Christmas. And right now in the middle, I sort of vary what I have in there, but right now it's all of organization type containers, so I can just very quickly grab one out. But then everything else pretty much that you see, with the exception of a few, vacuums, tools, sort of things, all these bins, this is stuff that I'm supposed to be selling or making stuff with, or sorting or whatever. It's just a shit ton of stuff, and it's way too much. It's way too much. So this is what I have to work on, and as you can see, I probably have enough for the remainder of the year, but only time will tell. This specific corner is the corner I've coined the corner of doom many times, but I'm renaming the pile of potential, because there are things I actually really like and would like to personally use myself, but I just have to acknowledge the fact that I'm one person and I can't actually use all this stuff in the next year. And if I was to die within this year, do I really want to burden my family with having to deal with all this stuff? Or would it be better if I just sort of turned as much of it into cash or over to local charities? Like, there's one local to us that deals with exactly this sort of supplies, like for people that upcycle. So anything that I'm not able to sell, I can just send over there and know that that is the right thing to do at this time for myself, my family, and my business, and just be okay with that. So now do you see why I'm so fed up with myself and disgusted? And the disgust isn't just coming from the fact of like, look, you purchased all this stuff, because I did it with good intentions. I've forgiven myself for that. But the reason it's so frustrating is the fact that not only do I have all that stuff, but I still crave to go get more. And what that's telling me is that is like what the rush of the drugs was. I replaced it with the adrenaline of going out and looking for things, and that can be a healthy swap until it's not, right? Until you're like until your house is like a hoarder's paradise. So if they were to have an estate sale about me, they would probably say hoarder's paradise in the title, or crafter's paradise, or whatever. And the thing is, I don't. It's like, this is such an embarrassing video to make. It's so bad. So yeah, I guess that's what happens when a coping skill, anything can be taken to the extreme. So I've taken weightlifting to the extreme of like apparently burning through my cartilage and my knee and my back and it's a whole thing. So you can take something healthy and make it unhealthy. And that's something that I'm struggling with right now. I think it is linked very closely with my reselling and my crafting, because they both require a lot of stuff to have on hand, because with the reselling, you constantly are feeding into listing so you can sell, list so you can sell, but it's like hard to find that sweet spot of how much is enough and how much is too much. I mean, we know that I have too much, but like when you're in it, it's hard to tell. It's like, oh, I'm doing this for my business. Oh, I'm going to make something with this. It's easy to get caught up in the moment and actually believe I'm being productive when I'm just going after the fun part, chasing that high, I'm chasing that rush, and I'm forgetting that I'm just digging myself deeper into the hole here. And then when I get back, I feel overwhelmed and stressed out. And then what do I want to do? I want to escape that feeling. And so I'm very tempted, like in a day or so, to go shopping again. So that's the reason I'm going on the no buy. It's because I need to really dial down on my self-discipline in this area. And I've learned it from quitting the drugs. That 30-day detox period is so crucial to quitting a habit. It's 30 days for a reason. And when you get out of the 30 days, it doesn't magically get easier, but I gain a lot of clarity, and I'm talking about the other habits that I was able to quit too, like even going as easy as social media in comparison to the drugs, or somewhere in the middle is probably like overeating, with the desserts and such, because that's just such an easy thing to fall into. Alcohol was another one. It was easier than the drugs, but not that much easier. But in all of them, that 30-day detox period, cold turkey, 30 days. See what I bring out of it, because with the drugs and alcohol, you have to be in a medical facility to detox in a safe way, unless you're going to do it like a little untraditional. Like I've done it in a drug dealer's house before, because I was unable to get to the detox. I mean, that wasn't smart for me to do, but it was like in a pinch. But in this case, I can go cold turkey. I can just stop buying the stuff, and in this 30 days, see what I learned from it. And I'm pushing myself to go further than the 30 days. But the first 30 days is so hard, right? Because I'm only in day 5 and I'm getting kind of like squirmy, I'm like feeling a little bit of a mix between depressed and like just wanting to like do something that I shouldn't do. So like go buy something, go online and browse. Oh, just look, like just yesterday I was like, I'm just gonna look online and I'm gonna make a wish list of things that I want for when I can come off this no buy. That was completely counterproductive. My time would have been better spent working. Now I have all those like things in my head of things that I want that I'm not gonna be purchasing. So maybe I'm a glutton for punishment. I would love to hear from you if this is something that you struggle with. If you think I can actually do this for a year, do you think I have enough stuff to pull me through the year? Because in the garage, like from where this gray shelving unit, from here all the way to the garage door, that's all already been listed. So that inventory has already been listed and it's just waiting to be organized and sent to its new location, its final destination, if you will, out of our living space. So I'm really working with that pile of potential in the corner there, and I'm just gauging that I can go that many months, but if I can't, that would be great. But I would just like to hear what your thoughts are on this situation. Bella, is it nice out? Come in. I'll explain very briefly the rules for my no-buy and welcome and encourage anyone else to join along that struggles with shopping. But if you feel like this isn't the right time or moment, keep in mind, I made this decision 5 days ago. It just felt like it needed to be done. If you're wondering, I will get a microphone for this new iPad. I just haven't gotten there yet. But that brings me into the rules. For me, I have to keep it really like simple because otherwise I'll get overwhelmed. I'm keeping it to essentials. So if it's something that I consider an essential, and I am considering a microphone for my iPad to make YouTube videos essential. I know some people wouldn't. So there are lines, but like for clothing, I mean, sure, I'll always want more clothing, but I'm not purchasing more clothing unless like a pair of pants rips. Maybe I can justify it, but most likely I'm just going to say no to any clothing purchases. So these are the two big ones, okay? No more inventory for my business, no more craft supplies, unless I'm making a project like this is what I'm currently upcycling. It didn't need any more supplies. I'm going after projects like that on purpose. They don't need any more supplies. But if I find myself in the middle of a project and say, all I need is a little bit of trim to finish it out and I don't have that trim. Sure, go get it, finish the project, be done with it. But try my best not to get into projects that are going to need more supplies. But for my business, obviously, I run out of shipping labels. Get them. They're an essential. I have to determine for myself what is essential, what is not. And I feel like the lip stuff I have, as stupid as that sounds, the lip stuff I have is like drying out my lips. So what I'm doing is I'm just getting rid of all those that I have and replacing them with new ones. And then boom, done. No more for the year, because realistically, I could spend like $80 on makeup and not have to buy any more for the whole year, because that's just how long it lasts. I'm not like a big makeup person. I just like to buy it all at once and then not think about it for the rest of the year. So things like headphones, like if these were to break, I could replace those because I use them every day. Those are considered an essential for me. So I'm not going essential like dramatic like that. I'm going essential for me and what I use every week, every day, but keeping in mind that like, do I have another one? And if I do, like these are my favorite headphones. Do I have another pair of headphones? Yeah, but those are for working out. So I'm just going to get another one of those. The more I say this out loud, the more I feel like it sounds ridiculous, but I have to go over these things in my head before I start so that I know my boundaries and my limits. And not buying inventory and not buying any more craft supplies, realistically, you guys, that's going to free up anywhere between $360 to $500 a month. If I can just take that money, keep it in savings, I think that I can gain enough momentum and confidence to want to repeat this the following year. Sure, I would probably at the beginning of the year have to get more inventory for the following year, but I may start operating like that where I do a batch month of like, I go get a bunch of inventory and supplies and then I work off that for a while. Because a lot of the estate sales that I go to, I'll notice that it's kind of like, oh, nothing. I don't see much. but then I hit one and it's like, I have to strike while the iron's hot. This person's got tables stacked to the ceiling with fabric. They're charging me by the pound, and it's not a ton, like it's a decent amount, but it's not a ton by the pound. Then I'm just gonna stock up, and they call that going deep on inventory. I'm just gonna go deep on this inventory and then not even have to worry about buying any more for a while. Then I can make projects in the meantime, post things, write, make videos. So that's my whole thinking with the no buy. And I'm going to pop in here and there and give you updates, but I know for the most part you may not even be interested in this part of my life, so I will sort of do so sparingly. But I'm very interested to see what I'm going to learn myself doing this, and it's already very difficult with just the rules I have in place. But I do want to talk about the things that I am allowing myself to purchase, because it's sometimes easier to focus on that but to not get carried away. So replacements. I run out of something. If I want to replace it, I can. Basically, what I was trying to say earlier is I can get very caught up in the details of like, is this an essential or is it not? But ultimately, if it breaks and I want to replace it, that's allowed. But if by replacing it, am I proud of that choice, or do I feel guilt over it? So like with the lip stuff, I would feel proud and okay with getting rid of, say, 10 and taking in, replacing and getting 3 high quality ones and then using those throughout the rest of the year. I would feel proud about that and okay with that. But would I feel okay with getting rid of 10 and replacing it with 10 more? No, because that's like not really needed. So just keeping in mind moderation and what I can actually realistically use, that goes into every single decision from here until the end of the year. And that is going to be hard, and that is a lot to take on, but I've committed myself to that. The things that I can do, I'm allowing myself to get gifts for people, because just because I'm going on no buy doesn't mean that if somebody's birthday comes up, especially a child's birthday, I'm not going to punish them for me being on a no buy. This does not have to do with them. So I am allowed to get gifts for people as I would normally do. And I'm also allowed to do like experiences with my family. So purchase tickets to go do something, but just keeping that rule of moderation in mind. Like, is this a choice that I feel proud of? Am I still going to hit my monthly financial goal? So that's where we're at right now. I feel like that was a lot of information to take in. I feel like you may be judging me kind of harshly based on this video and all the stuff I've sort of been, like, I talk about it, but I haven't really shown you exactly how bad it is. And I'm sure it's probably just natural that you're going to judge me on this area of my life. But I do have an addictive personality. It's something that I'm struggling with, that I struggle with every day, that I'm sort of trying to find ways that I can overcome it, or at least manage it in a better way than I have been. So this is me sort of putting myself out there so that I can hopefully see progress in the months to come. And yeah, so I'll check back with you soon. And if this is something you feel comfortable sharing that you've sort of dealt with, and maybe you have some perspective on the other end of it, or maybe it's something that isn't that hard for you and you have any tips, please share anything in the comments. I love to hear from you. It benefits everybody being able to learn from each other, so that's always a plus. And if you haven't judged me too harshly, I very much appreciate that.